G'day, that's Slot Car Guy here, and welcome to a new series, My 5 Favourites. This is part 1, but before we get into my 5 favourites, of course I cannot choose 5 favourite cars in my collection because I do like a lot of cars. So I really should have called it 5 cars I really like in my collection, and here's why. So let's get stuck into it. This is part 1. I will try and do a series on this, and which 5 cars have I chosen today to show you guys. So let's check out car number 1 out of my 5 favourites for part 1. And of course, these are in no particular order, but I did want to start with an SRC branded car. First off, the company themselves mean the world to me. They have been with me since day one in my early Instagram days. They really do take a chance on people and slot car clubs that are really trying to make a difference in our community. So I do thank them for supporting me, but what car is in here and why do I think this is so special to talk about? Well, let's have a look together, and I have done a video on this before, so if you haven't, I'll try and link it in the descriptions. It is the Toyota LMP1. Why is this so special for SRC? Now let's take a look at their history. They've made a lot of rally cars, a lot of historic F1 cars, and a couple of touring cars in between, historic of course. And this is their first real venture into the LMP1 realm, but into a car that may tackle some of the other companies at the club racing scene in this category. And let me tell you, this car for a first attempt is really good. So I'm super pumped that SRC did take a massive chance on going outside the normal for them, which I do congratulate them for that. This was a big jump out of the norm for the SRC brand. So love the car, love the brand. If you haven't grabbed an SRC car, please check out their website. But this to me should definitely be in part 1 of my fave 5s. So which is car number 2? Well, let's check that out together. Now, car number 2 should not come at any surprise whatsoever. This car will always be in a list of my favorites because it is most definitely a favorite car of mine. Now, let's talk about the brand itself, Pioneer. I absolutely love Pioneer, and here's a couple of reasons why. Let's get rid of the car for a tick. You buy a slot car, it comes in a beautiful crystal case, but they take their effort on the packaging, and the packaging on this car is incredible. It tells a story, it's really well thought out, and you are getting your value for money. You are paying for every part of this box, so why shouldn't it be beautiful? Love their box art, I love exactly what they do, but it doesn't stop there. And again, let's not talk about the car just yet. Inside there is a baggie with pinions, extra pinions, and it actually tells you why there's extra pinions in there. That to me is a no-brainer, but that's what kind of level Pioneer work at. Love the company, love the brand, but why do I love this little beast? Now, not only is it in the Golf livery, I think this car is really well put together. If I come into my shed and I want to do a quick 5 laps, this is definitely a car that my mind draws straight to because it's absolutely fun. It really is a good car to drive. So if you haven't purchased a Pioneer car before, please check out the Legend series. Their other series are great. I have got a couple of Pioneer cars now and I can't fault their cars. They're absolutely extraordinary, but definitely the Pioneer Legend series in the Golf is definitely part of my top 5, part 1 as number 2. So what car have I chosen for number 3? Let's check it out together. So car number 3 in my top 5 for part 1, I could not go past a BRM car. I absolutely love BRM. I'm very new to the 1/24 scale racing when it comes to model racing, and BRM have really changed my mind when it comes to 1/24 scale. I don't really care what car is inside here. I did choose a car that I really do like because the range of the BRM cars are incredible. And I have done a fair few reviews now, so please check out the channel if you are thinking about BRM. I have done a couple of reviews now on the 1/24 scale car. First thing is, I do like the box. I like how they're displayed. They come with a lot of information. So if you're new to the hobby, there is a guide in here. It shows you the layout of the car, the parts and the pieces, and that comes with all of their 1/24 scale cars, which I think is incredible. And of course, they're packaged very well, but what car is in here? I absolutely love it, the little Fiat. I absolutely love this car. It is 1/24 scale, but it still does feel like a 1/32 scale car. But as a whole, the company is incredible. They're producing really unique cars. Of course, they do target the 1/24 scale racing league or the racing community. So if you haven't tried a BRM, definitely give them a whirl because you will not be disappointed. So what have I chosen for car number 4? Let's find out together. So car number 4 in part 1 of my top 5 has to go to SEX's latest Hyundai i20N. Now let's talk about the real world car. It's a beautiful car. I love the livery. I love what Hyundai's doing. But I think SEX have captured this car beautifully and perfectly in the 132 scale. Livery looks good, it's displayed really well, and of course I'm rating these on the full product, the full experience, and I think the way SEX is going with their new range is really, really good. The case is really nice, it's pretty much like the original style, but it's got that bit of finesse to it. The car looks incredible, it's well finished, and it goes really, really well. And of course, I have done a review on this exact car on my channel, so please check it out. But SEX, hat off to you. I love the way you guys are going. This is a no-brainer for me. If you are new to the hobby, please check out an SEX car. They are really good out of the box. I wouldn't say they're too frightening. You don't have to do any real mods to them. You can just play them and put them back in the box. But of course, it goes really well. So car number 4 goes to SEX. Well done on the new direction of where you're going. But what have I chosen for car number 5? So last but not least, car number 5 in part 1 of my 5 favorites has to go to a slotted car. But before we talk about the car itself, let's talk about the brand and why I rate the brand so highly. Now, if you are new to the hobby or like myself, an amateur racer, I'm no professional, this brand speaks volumes. It's very, very good on the budget. These aren't expensive at all, which is a good thing, and you don't need to modify them at all to go racing if the rules allow it. If you have to modify the car to go racing, because your club might say you need tires or gearing or something similar, well then this car just gets better and better. But out of the box, the performance is incredible. So if you haven't got a slotted car in your collection or your race box, what are you doing? These are a no-brainer. Let's talk about the car in front of you, the Porsche 962C Jägermeister. Why have I chosen this car? Well, I personally raced this car at Mr. Slot Car here in Melbourne, Australia. It's my race centre. This car gave me confidence in the hobby. It also reinvigorated me to go, you know what, this hobby's going in the right direction and I want to go racing. Now, granted, COVID hit, so I haven't raced for a long time, but this was the last car I was racing with. I didn't win many races, that's because of me, but out of the box, the performance is most definitely there, and it probably outperformed my driving. So it means the world to me. It got me back into the hobby and thinking this should be a bigger thing for me. I really need to pump this hobby up because of cars like this and brands like Slotted. So that's why this is car number 5 in part 1 of my 5 favorites. So there we have it, part 1 of my 5 favorites is done and dusted. Here is my 5 favorites for part 1. Now I want to hear in the comments, what are some of your favorite cars in your collection and why? The cars mean the world, but I think the story behind them means more. And out of a coincidence, I've chosen 5 different brands. Now, moving forward through this series, you will see vintage cars. You might see a couple of different brand cars or the same brand car in some of those top 5s. But I thought it was an interesting way to show off my collection and give a bit of a story to some of the cars and why I like them. So I hope you liked it. Of course, please leave a comment if you did or didn't. And I want to hear your stories. So please tell me, what are your 5 favorites at the moment? Or what are some of your favorite cars? But as always, at That Slot Car Guy on Instagram and YouTube, thank you everyone for your support in 2022. Be safe, take care, and of course, support your local. Ciao.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.